Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your November 2022 tarot card reading and astrological horoscope. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jane, just to quickly introduce myself. So we are moving officially into November of 2022. October was an incredibly eventful month, and now that we are making a transition into November, after the eclipse on November 8th, things should start to sort of subside a little bit. Now for these readings, like we did last month, I have two different segments. The first segment is going to be a tarot card reading, which is purely intuitive, and the second segment is going to be an astrological horoscope. Thank you all so much for the amazing feedback that I received last month on those as well. And some people like to watch the astrology portion first. So if that's you, then you can absolutely click on that timestamp down below, and then you can go back and watch the tarot card portion after if you prefer. Now, you can watch these readings for your sun, moon, or rising sign, although just know that the rising sign is going to be a little bit more accurate in terms of all the house placements of the transits. Timestamps for each segment will be found in the description box and the comment thread down below for easy access. And also down below in the description box and comment thread, there will be information regarding how to access the comprehensive readings. So let's go ahead and get into this for the month. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in just a sec. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your November 2022 tarot card reading. So let's go ahead and get started with an intuitive message from a very intuitive deck. So this is going to start off the channeling for Gemini for November 2022. Okay. I'm definitely seeing like the quality of DNA in this code, or in this card. Well, the code, well, there you go. I'm seeing DNA, like a DNA strand, meaning something is coded. And maybe that may mean something is fated or predestined. And I don't always like to get so magical about that because, I feel like, there's this balance between free will and destiny and whatnot. But I do think you are approaching something that would fall a little bit more in line of on the destiny side. And your free will up to this point has likely brought you to this moment where something wonderful most likely is about to happen. Oh, my cat's talking to you. She's got something to say. And I almost feel like the intertwining of two paths. And that could be the two paths of the Gemini twins. It could be the two paths of you and another person. It could be the two paths kind of like in a sliding doors type of way. But I see a collision of fate, a collision of a fated moment. And it may not happen in November, but it's definitely heading that way. And like I say, it's something that's been coded in. And there's something highly abundant about the effects of this particular collision. If it is in fact you with another person, it could be the love of your life, right? Or the best business partner you could ever possibly ask for, or the best possible whatever that you're looking for. If it's you within yourself, this is a collision of both light and shadow coming together in perfect harmony and perfect balance so that you no longer have to be a victim of your own psychology, right? Or of your own patterning or your own traumas and all of that. And there does seem to be an element of freedom for you here, Gemini. Freedom is probably going to be a theme that continues to build as Pluto over the next couple of years is kind of making its way into Aquarius. Now, when it finally settles into Aquarius in 2024, I think we're going to have a new meaning of that word and have a deeper understanding of what that means for us. But for right now, I think what we're wanting now is just greater degrees of freedom. So Gemini, the next card I'm going to pull out for November 2022 is the card that signifies what the universe needs from you. Okay, the Star. First of all, it needs your hope, and it needs your optimism, and it needs you to believe. And I think with Jupiter coming into your 10th house, right? It's retrograding back into Pisces. Now it's going to go direct again on November 23rd at 28 degrees of Pisces. But I do think that this is giving us an opportunity to really open up our perspective in a more boundless way. This was one thing. Now, I think the beginning of the year when we had tons and tons of Pisces energy was a little bit challenging. But the good thing about Pisces is that it genuinely believes and it has this capacity to put its whole heart into something, right? And it really is like a full body commitment into things that they love. And so believing that it is possible, believing you can, believing that you deserve it, all of these things are going to bode very, very well for Gemini as we go through Scorpio season and on into Sagittarius season. And I think right now with Mars retrograding in your sign, there is an element of hands off the wheel, right? Remember, there's like a free will versus destiny. And I think right now for Gemini specifically, I'm not saying this for every sign, but for Gemini specifically, it is leaning a little bit more towards destiny. And with the 6th house activation in Scorpio, it's pretty much supporting you just living your life like normal, right? Just live your life like normal, do what you're doing. You don't have to make any huge changes. But you do have to believe that the path that was meant for you, that you are coming into a collision with that. And when we talk about in this new age, community, I guess we could say, we always talk about timelines. I feel like you are going to start feeling like you finally got onto the right timeline, okay? Now in your environment, beautiful, we have a Queen of Swords. Now this is not your energy, Gemini. This is the energy that is around you or of a person that is around you. So it may be a different person than you, but I like the compatibility between you and them. This is actually a Libra card. So it's kind of giving off those more intellectual, incredibly wise, airy vibes that Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini all share. And this is someone who, I gave an example of this on another reading. I don't know if you guys know who, if you guys ever watched that show Suits. It was like on TV a long time ago. I don't know, but it was a really good show. And one of the main characters was the leader of the law firm. Her name was Jessica. And I cannot find or figure out a better Queen of Swords person. Like Jessica is the perfect. So if you've never watched that show before, I would highly recommend at least watching just a couple of episodes and kind of get the gist, because she's like, it's all Queen of Swords. Okay, she's wise, she's intelligent, strategic, she's older and has been through a lot of experience, and she reads people very, very well and knows how to manipulate situations, but she would never manipulate situations in a way that is hurtful or harmful for people, right? So there's an element of control. Now, this is not you. I'm not saying you don't have those qualities, but this is someone else in your life or someone else that's around you or that you are observing right now that I think you find to be very inspirational. This is someone that you can aspire to be. And this could also be, to some degree, an aspect of yourself, and saying, this is someone who has certain characteristics or character traits, personality traits that I see in myself, that if I nurture within myself, then they can also blossom and become as wonderful as they are for this Queen of Swords. So this person is merely around you to show you your own potential and mirror it back to you and say, Gemini, you have a lot of potential and I know you want to attain it. Because with Jupiter in Pisces and in Aries, which it has been for a big chunk of the year, there is not a doubt in my mind that we are all wanting to expand ourselves, and we do want to achieve the potential that we know we hold. Okay, so now we have Judgment, we have Death, and we have the Chariot. Okay, so a lot of major arcana coming out for Gemini. I don't know why these are coming out. I don't know Let me check the camera really quick, make sure they're not all like messed up. Okay. Sometimes I can't tell if they're straight or not. Okay. So Judgment, Death, and the Chariot. Now, I like the Judgment card here in this deck because we have like an angel and a demon, okay? And there's like heaven and hell kind of thing. And I actually like that duality for Gemini since you represent that type of polarity, right? Masculine versus feminine, light versus shadow, all that kind of thing. And I actually like the integration of this. Now, with this particular card in this particular deck, I often interpret it as saying, please make sure that you are practicing good judgment. All right, remember, what the universe needs from you is your hope and your optimism. It needs you to believe that there is an alignment happening for you. It needs you to believe that there is a destiny, okay? And the reason it needs you to believe that is because that is what is going to keep you to continue making the best possible choices for yourself. And it's really important for Gemini to pay attention to how things make them feel. And with Jupiter in Pisces and Scorpio season activation and eclipse season and Mars going retrograde in your sign, which means first house activation, which means there is an association with the body, which means your body is going to be communicating to you. And I even said DNA coding, right? Your own DNA is going to be delivering information to you. So if someone approaches you and, I don't know, asks you out on a date or has some kind of a financial opportunity or has some creative thing, and if it doesn't feel right, please don't do it. Now that may fade, right? But right now the senses are heightened and they are accentuated for Gemini. And I'm going to say this is only happening for you right now. Because when Mars is in that first house, and it's going inward like this, there's a little bit of a deep dive into your own self, into your own identity, into your own being. And with death coming on board, you know, this full moon eclipse, which is happening on November 8th in your 12th house, which is a very difficult house, all right? This is probably going to require you to allow or force or let go of, however the situation is, you have to let go of something. You are going to have to release, and there may be an element of sacrifice. And this is not easy. This eclipse won't be easy for Gemini. And you've been through the ringer as it is. Like, as much as I want to sympathize with Capricorn and Cancer for going through all the Capricorn stuff, I have to say that I would put Gemini right up there with Capricorn and Cancer because the Capricorn stuff has been in the 8th house. Also, I'll throw Aquarius in there too because it was 12th house for them. And these are such challenging houses. I know you've learned so much, but it is time for you to let go of a lot of the pain and the trauma that was acquired since 2008. It's true for all of us, but especially true for you because 8th house cuts to the bone. It goes deep and it can sink in real deep. All right? So we have to release this. And the Chariot is here to absolutely support you in saying, let's go. Like, we have to, I'm almost kind of envisioning, people who climb Mount Everest and like they know the risks going in. They know that it's hard and they know that people die. And when people die, they have to just keep going. And they say that as you're climbing, you can literally see bodies sometimes because they're just like there. Like you just have to keep going. You have to let the things that are dead and have died off, you have to just let them be. All right. And the Chariot is, I think he's going to kind of force you to do that. He's going to force you to do that. And even the 6 of Swords. Now, this particular path is not necessarily tumultuous. I don't think it is. I don't think that this is going to be a month of massive upheaval for Gemini. It's going to be fairly Actually, I think it's going to err more on the side of hopeful and good and passionate. And there's going to be a lot of optimism, especially when Sagittarius season is activated. There's going to be a quality of finding your way. And when we find our way, there is that feeling of enthusiasm and joy. Because when we feel that we're aligned, when we feel like things are working out for us, when we feel like we're finally doing what we're called to do and what we're meant to be doing, it feels good and it lights us on fire and it brings so much passion into our lives. And again, this Queen of Swords is someone who has really embraced that aspect as well. Now, the Queen of Swords in a lot of the different tarot decks, not the Rider-Waite, but in a lot of like the Hermetic Tarot, and there's a couple other ones I can't remember the name of, but it's very common to see a Queen of Swords beheading, right? Be like holding a head in her hands, like she's just beheaded somebody. And so there is an aspect of being brutal, but also just, okay? And I think by leaving these things to fall off and not trying to revive them or trying to resurrect anything, but just continuing to soldier on, that can be, brutal sometimes. And other people may perceive you as being a bit brutal, like, how dare you not want to resurrect or reconcile or work this out with me? How dare you? You're such a mean person. How can you be so cold-hearted? Has nothing to do with that at all. Has everything to do with the fact that you are finally moving on and you have finally found something that calls you. King of Coins, beautiful. And the Four of Wands. See, I love the stability of both of these cards. King of Coins is very well grounded and rooted, and in traditional tarot decks too. And I know this is not a Rider-Waite, but he's sitting on the black throne. And for some reason, I feel like I want to say that because we have the angel and the demon here. And the black throne really can represent our own shadow, that we conquer or we get out from under our own darkness, where for maybe a long period of time, our own unhidden world had its boot on our necks. And I'm not saying your life has been terrible, but sometimes we don't realize that we are like victims of ourselves, right? We're victims of our own psychology and our own childhoods and all that. And I know that healing is a very popular thing now. It's all over on social media, and there are so many resources for us to go to, which is great. But there comes a certain point when we have to decide to to not necessarily identify with it. And that was one of the fears that I had as Chiron moved into the Sun Decan of Aries, the Sun ruled or the middle degree set of Aries. Because I felt like people were going to really start identifying with their stuff. And while it's good to identify it for the sake of diagnoses and working with it and learning how to, improve your life, it's not really about it becoming your identity so much as it becoming leverage so that you can live this incredible life. And I feel like with the King of Coins, he has done that flawlessly. He knows how to do that. He understands what it means to come out from under your own shadow and to continue to shine and to shine bright, as we see with the Star card. And he's even holding a coin that has a star right in the middle of it. In Four of Wands, there is an element of stability and beauty, as we have this beautiful bouquet. There's life, there's abundance, there's love, so much love, there's a union. What else for Gemini? Okay, we have the Five of Cups. Ten of Coins. Oh, I love that when he comes right underneath the King of Coins. This is what I mean. Gemini is aligning with some destiny that is going to be significantly abundant. and Ace of Wands. Excellent. Well, I love the Ace of Wands because, again, this may not happen in November. This may take a while for Gemini to come into this collision, but I just want you to know that you are en route, okay? And this Ace of Wands is going to be a stepping stone for you to keep this aligned. And that's why, like, you have to keep your channels clean with that sword, right? You have to be able to use that sword. You cannot be afraid. And to not use the sword as like a means of protection to defend yourself, but more so to use that sword to clear the path. Like, it's very different to walk through a jungle with a machete and cut down all of the, the bushes and everything. That's a very different experience than having to fend off some kind of an adversarial animal, right? Two totally different things. This is about cutting your way through the jungle, cutting and clearing the path, but not taking anybody else down. So here we have this Ace of Wands, which is all about the excitement, I think. The excitement is what's going to guide Gemini throughout November. The electricity, the chemistry, the passion. Now, I'm not telling you to jump into anything haphazardly, and I'm also not telling you to be entirely cautious. We have to find a middle ground between those two things. And with the Five of Cups, there's going to be this process of slowly something leaving your life. And again, I do think Jupiter through Pisces can get more emotional, especially when Mars is retrograde in your first house. Plus, it's also Scorpio season. Plus, the South Node is involved, all right? Plus, we've got a full moon eclipse coming up in your 12th house. So, like, I'm not telling you that this is specifically a really unemotional time. Jupiter through Pisces, Scorpio season, it's going to be important to really feel those emotions of loss, to feel the emotions of sacrifice, to feel the emotions that come with losing, to come with those times that you put your all into something and you didn't get anything in return. You didn't get the love, you didn't get the recognition, you didn't get the money, you didn't get the, no one noticed you, whatever the case was. You have to grieve those losses and let those things out. And in fact, I'm actually saying, like, if you need to have a little bit of a pity party, please, by all means, do that. And I think that's a great way to purge. And I'm not saying to be there forever, to sit there whining and complaining. But if you have to feel sorry for yourself for a minute, please do so. All right? Because what happens with Piscean energy, it's like you can so easily put your all into something, like your whole heart into a relationship. You can give everything you got into a business. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay to mourn the loss. Well, I know I'm repeating myself. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I don't know how else to say it. But this is mourning the losses, mourning the death. But you mourn the death while you're still going with the Chariot. The Chariot is absolutely going to keep you on point. It's not going to let you linger. And now we have the Ten of Coins, which I love in this more, the middle bottom, I feel, is one of the most foundational positions. And to have this abundance, there are financial resources available to you, even if you do not perceive them. They are coming to you. This is a part of the code. And I feel like it's the code of your life, right? That your life has been coded. And like I say, yes, there is free will, but there is a point where free will and destiny have to meet. Okay? This right here is coming more with the destiny side. More resources, more abundance. And there's also a lot of togetherness in family, a lot of love and belonging and security that comes with that Ten of Coins as well. So generally speaking, Gemini is opening up an incredibly new experience for themselves in terms of the standards of their life. They are no longer going to be accepting the scarcity and a lot of the BS that they put up with in the past. All right, you're stronger. Like this is, as Pluto comes into the ninth house, this is 100% the epitome of the phoenix rising from the ashes, because everything crashes and burns in the eighth house. And then when it enters the ninth house, this is when the eagle spreads its wings and can fly. And I think because of what you've gone through, the ninth house Pluto is going to be a beautiful experience for you. It's going to be like an obsessiveness to fly as high as you possibly can. Okay? All right, let's pull out some oracle let's pull out the clarifiers. Now, the clarifiers are the cards I will talk about in the comprehensive reading. The link for that will be found in the description box in the comment thread down below. There's a bunch of information there, so please make sure that you select the option that is the best for you. I usually talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards, so please... Again, yeah, so yeah, you can check out all those links, check out all the information of how to access these. Now I'm just messing up my whole little spiel here. My mind is going a mile a minute. This is a very exciting reading for Gemini. I'm very excited for you. Okay, so let's clarify the star. We got 3 cards that came out. So we have the 9 of Wands reversed, 7 of Wands reversed, and the Magician. And I love the Magician for Gemini because I feel like you have been doing a lot of magic, you know. Oh, shoot, my microphone's just... You know, I dropped this microphone the other day and it left this... I have a hardwood floor here and it left this beautiful microphone shaped, like mesh-shaped dent in my floor. So beautiful. Okay, Queen of Swords. What else does Gemini need to know regarding their environment? Great. Now that's not straight and it's gonna bug me. Okay, well, it's still not straight, but... Okay, I just have to stop. All right, so 10 of Swords. It's gonna drive me crazy. I'll straighten it up for the comprehensive reading. 10 of Swords. 6 of Swords reversed. And the Knight of Cups. Beautiful. All right, so this is, well, hold on, just kidding. I did this last time. Another sign. This is not where we're going to pick up. We're going to continue with the clarifiers. We've got the Judgment card. So what else does Gemini need to know regarding judgments? We have the 6 of Cups reversed. The Moon reversed. 9 of Coins reversed. Page of Cups. Queen of Cups. And the Fool. I love the Fool when he comes out with the Death because this is the perfect death rebirth combination. Love that combination. Love it in general, and I especially love it for you. Justice, amazing. I do think that people who have gone through it, and it doesn't have to be just like in the past couple weeks, I mean like for the past several years, I feel like karma has not really rectified itself. With Saturn in rulership since 2017, 2018, it has been really hard for us to like really get what I think is owed, you know, what the universe kind of owes us, if you will. And I feel like things are starting to turn around. I think when Saturn goes into Pisces, things are going to start changing. 7 of Cups. Temperance reversed. Devil reversed. What does Gemini need to know for... Oh, beautiful. The King of Coins, the Magician. Oh, another Knight of Cups reversed, same as down here. And Page of Wands. Oh, another Chariot upright. Love that for the Four of Wands, another, or an Eight of Coins, Nine of Swords, Four of Swords, Sun, excellent, High Priestess, Seven of Swords, you can doubt all you want, but your destiny is yours, regardless of what you do right now. Your destiny is yours, and it will always belong to you. And there's nothing anyone can do, not even you, that can take that away from you. King of Cups, Seven of Coins, and the Empress reversed. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive reading. So if you want to join me, you are more than welcome. And I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much, Gemini. I hope you have an amazing November, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to the Astrological Horoscope portion of this November 2022 reading. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, I have the clock set for November 1st. All right, so we're building up now officially to the big full moon eclipse conjunct Uranus on November 8th. But I want to tie that into some of the events that happened in late October, right? So we have October 25th, the new moon eclipse in Scorpio at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So if you have any placements, 2 degrees of any of the fixed signs or thereabouts with a couple of a degree orb, you're likely to really feel that one. And then we had Jupiter moving back into Pisces. So we were kind of feeling that transition. Now, Jupiter is going to be going direct on November 23rd. So right now he's moving really, really slow at these latter degrees of Pisces, giving us this opportunity to really open up our consciousness again and to tap into our own optimism again. Okay. And then we also had Mars in your sign go retrograde on October 30th. So this is kind of the biggest one for you, I think. Now, I'm not to say you're not going to feel the eclipses, because you absolutely will. But I think this one has really had Gemini all over the place. Mars in Gemini, we have to remember that Gemini is a double-bodied sign, right? It's a mutable sign. So it has a lot of capabilities. It has a lot of ups and downs. It's extraordinarily flexible and adaptable, but it is also reactive because of this, right? So it can turn on a dime, but that may be good, but that also may not be a good thing. So I think with the creativity that has just been pummeling through with Mars, because of course Gemini is without a doubt one of the most creative signs of the zodiac, with all of this creativity and these new ideas and these new points of interest coming in with Mars through Gemini. Now it's starting to slow down. And of course, it's in this, in conjunct here with Pluto, which is kind of an awkward angle. And Pluto is really saying, well, you kind of need to start going deep now, go deep internally, go deep within yourself, and to really think about where you're truly being drawn. Because if you had 20 ideas come at you over the past of the couple of months, and you're rethinking your future, but you're not really truly satisfied, but you don't know what exactly would satisfy you, and you know you need to attack and go after something, you just don't want to be wasting your time and only to change your mind later, right? So it can be very debilitating at times. And when Mars, now he's changing direction, he's slow, and so he's going to start backing up now. And he's offering you that opportunity to go inside and say, which of all of these ideas and all of these potential pathways, which of these truly resonates with me and which truly sticks? Now, I'm cautioning, and I have been cautioning everybody for the past few months. I don't know that I would make decisions right now that you're like fully committing to. right? Putting yourself in situations, especially if something is legally binding for a long period of time. Like I wouldn't get into like a 10-year lease right now. You can do a year, that's fine. I wouldn't get into this massive, massive contract unless it was like, some kind of a short-term deal. But the reason for this is because what we're kind of being drawn toward now may just end up being kind of a distraction or a shiny object, where in our heart of hearts, we may have our eyes drawn towards something in a more subtle background kind of way. And that's going to be the thing that ultimately ends up shining through. Like if you can envision the star card in tarot, I don't know how familiar you are. Some people are super familiar. Some people are still new to tarot. But in the star card in tarot, there's like this big star in the center of the sky, and there's a whole bunch of little other ones. And so what we're waiting for is that big star to reveal itself to that point where we are sure that that is the direction that we need to go. We don't want to like mistake some of these smaller, more unimportant stars for the big one, just simply because we were a little premature in making these decisions. So you can allow yourself to be pulled in a million different directions, but ultimately in the next few months, as we make our way into Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces season, there is going to be something where you're like, aha, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to invest my time and my money and my attention and all my stuff. That's what I want to do. And so come Aries season, really technically Pisces and Aries season together, when we come into that time, you're going to be able to plant the right seeds. All right. So we kind of have to plan ahead for next year, for next seed planting season. And this Mars retrograde is enabling us to do that. Now, we also need to remember eclipses happening in the 6th house. Now, some of you may be dealing with some health concerns. 6th house, 12th house is absolutely all about the physical and spiritual well-being. I said the same thing for the Sagittarius reading as well, right? Physical and spiritual well-being. Now, having heavy Scorpio, having a Mars-ruled 6th house can be problematic in and of itself. Scorpio is not necessarily the most healthy and vital sign, right? Because it is associated with death and destruction and all of that. And there's kind of like a going inward quality with Scorpio as well. And plus South Node being in here. So if you are dealing with health issues, I think this particular new moon eclipse in succession, right? Because we've already had a few of these eclipses already. They are helping you determine what needs to be eliminated in your habits. And because Taurus is involved, there also could be something regarding food or anything, if you're, you notice specific things with your thyroid, anything like that. All of those unhealthy or unhelpful habits can then be eliminated. And eliminating and taking those things seriously. Like these eclipses are serious business. As much as I would like to say they're all fun and games, the nodes are not fun and games. They're not these wonderful, super comfortable, super happy points. They're not planets, but they're not these super happy points. They are kind of ticking us forward toward destiny. So it is something that we kind of need to take more seriously. So anything that can be eliminated, because that's what Scorpio is all about, eliminating the unhealthy and the unhelpful so that we can emerge and be reborn again as our body regenerates. And that's a beautiful thing for Scorpio as well, as the regeneration component, so that we can regenerate our cells, can regenerate, and over time, eventually we have like a whole new body. So if we have healthy habits, we can then regenerate and build an entirely new system for ourselves, okay? We can let the old die off and allow the new to be born again. So this Scorpio season, pay attention to anything that you are doing habitually, all right? And watch out for your pets. Take good care of your pets. This may be a really good time to take your pets to the vet as well. Make sure they're healthy, check their teeth, check for the worms, check for all the things, get them groomed, whatever. Take care of your little fur babies for sure. And then we have the full moon eclipse, which is in the 12th house. Now, 12th house is a really far away kind of house. It definitely has a lot to do with isolation and being alone and being very separate from society. And some of you may feel throughout the time. Now, November 1st, we have this moon in Aquarius, so it's already building up to this full moon situation. And you may feel for the first week that you just really want to step away. And if you need to step away, by all means, do whatever you can. Now, I know we kind of still have to take care of our families and we still have to work and earn our money and do our things. But whenever you can get a chance to step away, please do so. I think that would be really, really good for your mental health. I think taking care of your mental health right now is going to be an inevitability. And if you can consciously prioritize it, that will likely be a really good thing. Now, we also have Saturn and Pluto in October. This is old news by now, but Saturn and Pluto are now officially moving direct, and they're kind of soldiering forward. They're going to start making their transitions in March. So they're already getting prepared for those transitions. And I'm pretty sure, Gemini, you're going to feel really, really happy. Now, I'm not saying your life will change overnight like that, but I do think overnight, well, not overnight, but I do think having Pluto leave the 8th house will feel like a sense of relief, because this can be an incredibly burdensome situation. Now, to have this in your 8th house, which is a difficult house in and of itself, but to have Saturn as the ruler of your 8th house, being Capricorn, that's just a very unfortunate situation, right? That's an unfortunate alignment. And Saturn and Capricorn it's a difficult archetype to contend with. So when we throw Pluto in there past 15 years, like, I know that Gemini has just gone through this massive process of growth that was probably somewhat unrelenting. So as it transitions into Aquarius over the next couple of years, it is likely that the shroud will lift to a certain degree. Cancer is next up on the docket. So lucky them, right? So lucky them. But I think you're going to start to feel that. And then as we have Saturn coming into Pisces, you are going to notice some pretty substantial challenges, but also releases in regards to the blockages that you have pertaining to your career. Okay. All right. So it's a big month. What else do we have? I'm sure I didn't mention everything. Okay, yes, I didn't even mention the Sagittarius stuff because I was talking so much about Scorpio. But then we have all three, right? Venus and Mercury are going to surpass the Sun throughout Scorpio season. And on the 16th and 17th, they are going to enter into Sagittarius. So your ruling planet now officially in detriment in Sagittarius. And then the Sun is going to come into Sagittarius on the 22nd. And then the next day on the 23rd, we're going to have that new moon in Sagittarius. And then December, of course, we have the full moon in Gemini, but we'll talk about that in December. But this activation of the 7th house can certainly put some strain, because with Mars in your sign and then the Sun in the sign of partnerships, there could be some contention with how you're relating to people. And there could be a little bit of a tug of war where your partner is really needing to shine, but you're still working through on something. So it may be a challenge to really show up and be there, because that Mars is going backwards. So it's kind of going more inward right now. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying you won't do it. Obviously, if your child it probably won't be a child. It'll probably be like an adult partner that you have, either a romantic partner or a business partner or an employer or a client or something. Like, they may have really high demand demands throughout December, and it may be a bit of a challenge for you to really show up for them. But I think you can and you will when it's needed, but you may not be interested in giving like a maximum effort. Because there has to be attention on the self. Mars is demanding that you give yourself that self-care that you're going to need when Pluto moves on, right? This is going to be great for you to kind of regroup and reassess and reestablish kind of some semblance of an identity. And so when a partner is demanding something, with the Sun and Venus and Mercury, your ruling planet over there, in opposition with whatever Gemini placements you have, you can feel a little bit of that tug of war. But ultimately, I feel highly confident that you will make the best decisions for yourself, because Mars wouldn't have it any other way. He can be a little selfish. He is a selfish planet. He is not so concerned with the care and the love of others. He needs to do what he needs to do. He has a mission here. And when it's in your first house, it is about you. And that's like end of story. Okay? All right. So just kind of a brief overview for you there. So thank you so much, Gemini. I'm going to leave you with that. You guys know I love you. Have a fantastic November, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.